Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another episode of A Lady with a Camera and a Bulldog and Too Many Opinions. I have fallen down a rabbit hole over the past few weeks, as one does, as we all do. And today's little rabbit hole scamming unethical sitch that we are going down into is really one that I think needs a lot more attention because it is pretty insane. It's pretty wild. Just like when I was looking into it, I was like, the audacity, absolutely the audacity. So let's start out with our main key players for this whole situation. Now, this has to do with ASL, American Sign Language, and the deaf community. Let me just say this. I am hard of hearing. I would not consider myself deaf, as many people in the deaf community say. It is a spectrum, obviously. And I do enjoy following a lot of deaf creators on Instagram, TikTok, and just having more awareness. And I have been trying to learn sign. I do need to make it a priority. Good amount of deaf people in my family, none of which can sign, which is hilarious to me. But they are of an older generation, so I think it's more so like, just speak in a lower tone and stare at me, and well, that'll work, which it doesn't. Anyways, so now that I have that out of the way, because I don't want anyone to be, I don't know, to try to be annoying. People are going to be annoying no matter what. Anyways, I am obsessed, absolutely in love with this creator, Elizabeth Harris, or Liz Harris. This is her Instagram. She also has a TikTok, but she's just wonderful, has taught me so much, not like teaching me sign, obviously, but more so just like good resources and just like educational stuff. And she's absolutely awesome. And she is how I came about this whole situation with this girl, Lola. I say girl because I think she's like 16 or 17. She's got that real young, like smiling like that face where like you put your eyebrows up and then there's like your forehead's wrinkly. Girl, stop doing that. You're gonna need Botox at like 20. Stop it. Anyways, so let's go ahead and let Liz take it away. She explains the situation and then explains why it is an issue. So let's go ahead and let those two reels play. And then I want to go over a little bit more of like the unethical side of all of this as well. So take it away, girl.
Okay, I want to clarify my last video talking about the girl named Lola who's learning ASL, but she's actually teaching ASL now on her Instagram. First of all, it's completely fine to show your journey learning ASL on social media. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And it's fun to look back and see yourself grow. The problem is she's teaching signs and signing it wrong in the video and misrepresenting ASL, a whole language that a lot of deaf people rely on. And for some deaf people, they only rely on their hands to communicate. That's heavy. And when a deaf person says, hey, that's wrong, please stop teaching, she blocks them. That is so disrespectful. You're taking advantage of a language that deaf people struggled for years and years and years to protect because hearing people banned it at one point. In the past, it was illegal for deaf people to communicate with their hands. It's hard enough for a deaf person to get a job already because a lot of people have these misconceptions about deaf people that aren't true. But the one thing a lot of deaf people are good at is teaching ASL. Now, I'm not saying that hearing people shouldn't teach ASL. No, if you are fluent and certified, yes, you can teach. But if you are not and you are making money, that's wrong. If you continue to ignore a community, like ASL would not exist without deaf people. That's not okay. And she should definitely not get hired to interpret ASL. People have to get degrees to interpret ASL.
So like I said, there are two players in this. I mean, there's obviously a whole community. I understand that. But there are two players in this. Liz, who I absolutely love, who's awesome. She's my type of gal, first of all. But she was basically calling this out, as she said in her video. And then I went to go look at the other girl's content, and she can say all day long that she's not a teacher, that she's not trying to teach other people how to sign, but you are, especially when you're hashtagging educational and like how to sign and all these types of things. You can't just slap a disclaimer on it that's like, I'm just learning, I'm not a teacher, but in turn, you're taking things that you are learning and putting them out there for other people to learn. that in turn is you using your platform to teach. And then also, I personally believe that she is doing sponsored content as well, because she did disable her comments on all of her videos except the ones that are, in my opinion, allegedly sponsored content. And if you know anything about being an influencer, as I do, what do you know? You can't disable your comments on, like, you have to leave your comments on for engagement. And so that you can then in turn, if it's needed, send those analytics to the brand. And you have to be able to have engagement on that type of content. So what I'm thinking is that is a requirement with these like one-off, like random ones that she's getting. On those types of videos, you can see the comments where people are saying like, you're offending the deaf community. This is wrong. You say you're not a teacher, just your little slapped disclaimer on some of your videos. And then you continue to do this. And a lot of times you're signing things wrong. That's not okay. And you're presenting yourself as someone who is like teaching. That's not good. That's not okay. And then part of your username or part of like your handle or whatever, your bio on Instagram is ASL 14s. What do you mean 14s? If you're not, is that those are the people you're teaching or those people you're not teaching because you're not a teacher? It doesn't make sense. The reason why I wanted to bring up the alleged sponsored content is because you can tell, obviously, in my professional opinion, as someone who does this for a job, it is sponsored content. Again, that's just my opinion. However, there's no disclosures, no disclaimers. So she's not being FTC compliant on top of that. And we can say all day long, well, oh, she probably doesn't know. Okay, maybe she doesn't know. But it's also her responsibility to know. And just because you don't know that you're doing something wrong doesn't negate the fact that you are doing something wrong. Knowingly or unknowingly, she's breaking FTC guidelines, and that's unethical and illegal. And we can also say, and I'm sure there'll be people in my comments being like, Chelsea, she's too young. Like, you shouldn't have put her in a video. Like, she's a kid. I don't care how old you are. If you're old enough to put content out there, you're old enough to know better, and you're old enough to know that you shouldn't be lying. And if so many people are calling you out, that's not just someone being a bully, that's actual constructive feedback that you need to take, especially when the person with the biggest platform who has been calling you out, 1, is extremely proficient in ASL, 2, is deaf, 3, is a huge influencer in the deaf community and just on social media in general. When they called you out and were so eloquent and so professional about it, and your response to that was to block them, that's not okay. And actually, Liz posted a message to Lola, and it was amazing. So let's go ahead and watch that.
Okay, I want to address this whole Lola situation and what I want from her after she upset the entire deaf community. So Lola, if you are watching this, please listen. First, I want you to make a video apologizing to your followers and to the deaf community for teaching ASL. You're not fluent or certified, so it doesn't benefit anyone to learn ASL incorrectly. And also, the deaf community has told you repeatedly to stop teaching and you don't listen. That sucks for us because we're already overlooked. I also want you to apologize for offering your services as an ASL interpreter. I know you saw it like an opportunity, but it's not an opportunity to interpret ASL. ASL interpreters have to go to school and get degrees for the whole reason to provide access for deaf people. You didn't provide access, you took that away. 2, I want you to stop teaching ASL and marketing yourself as an ASL business. Again, I should not have to explain that if you are not fluent or certified in any language, you should not teach it. You're still learning and mistakes will happen, that's okay. But in you teaching ASL is making people look down on ASL like it's not a whole language that's separate from English. And it's telling people that it's okay to make up signs. Deaf people want more hearing people to learn sign language because time and time again, we are overlooked as people and mocked at. But all we want is to feel connected with you guys. And that only happens through learning sign language the right way. That's all.
Now, Liz also posted this to Instagram, and I want to go over it with y'all because there are, of course, whenever you post something like this, call someone out, go over unethical behavior, there's always going to be people who are like, get over it. Who cares? It's not a big deal. It's kind of like with the Michaela Noguera and Lashgate thing. People were like, it's just mascara. No, it's not. It's unethical. they're lying and they're presenting themselves in a way that is not okay. And obviously this situation, in my opinion, is much worse, especially when an entire, I don't want to say entire, that's a blanket statement, but a majority of and reputable and reliable people in a certain community are saying, this is offensive. What are you doing? And this is not okay. You're just blocking them and not addressing it, which is awful. Okay. So 3 days ago, Liz posted this, again, very educational. I love it. Y'all know I'm a for another woman who posts like educational stuff and like is going to call you out, but also back it up with like, this is why, this, that, and the third. And she is here to be heard. Okay. She is ready. So it says, get over yourself. It's not that big of a deal. You deaf people are being too much. Just let hearing people profit off your language. It doesn't matter if they teach sign language wrong. All of those are in quotations, obviously, and we'll have that up on the screen. She said, yes, it matters. Like any language, sign language is a language. Not a bunch of gestures people make up and turn around by profiting off of misrepresenting sign language. When you are talking about sign language, you are also talking about a whole community that relies on it. The deaf community. With language, there's a community and a culture, and that is extremely important. We talk about that in my Babbel ad reads. Throughout history, deaf people have been oppressed and stripped from their language because it's inferior to spoken language. But we are so prideful because we have gone through so much and feel the discrimination in a deep and hurtful way. It cuts so deep because we spend our entire lives learning to accept ourselves despite our circumstances, discover our language and community that is often not available for us to be educated on, and be a part of something bigger than ourselves. So we fight and we fight hard. You will never take that away from the deaf community, no matter how hard you try. And for the hearing community who does support us, please continue in a respectful way. We appreciate the advocacy we can get because unfortunately, many people won't listen to someone who isn't a part of the majority, someone who communicates with their hands. Unfortunately, many won't listen unless a deaf person uses their voice, vocal cords. Love that she's clarifying. When most of us already have a voice, our hands. Ooh, mic drop. Love that. And for the hearing people to continue to disrespect the deaf community and think it's okay to take advantage of, take a step back and educate yourself on the community. Realize no one is better than anyone else due to their abilities. Okay, so I just want to go over what she posted here because it was absolutely so impactful. So it says, impact on deaf educators. Over the next century until the late 1960s, deaf teachers lost their jobs in favor of those who were hearing. Deaf students lost access to their deaf role models. Deaf students were forced to utilize only speech both in and out of the classroom. They were punished for using sign language by having their hands tied together, struck by rulers, or slammed in desk drawers. The number of educated deaf professionals sharply declined due to educational practices that resulted in severe language deprivation. The impact of this can still be felt today. Understand deaf history and your role in contributing or preventing the oppression of the deaf community in current times. Please do learn sign language from deaf teachers, buy from deaf-owned businesses, follow and uplift deaf content creators, raise your children to be bilingual in sign language and native spoken language, advocate for accessibility and inclusion. Shared a bunch, there's a reel that she did. She shared a bunch of like free resources. And that's one of the reasons I love her so much. And like, I don't want to say became obsessed with her because that like sounds like I'm fangirling and weird, but that's me. So I will have all of those linked down below, the ones that she shared, because it's so helpful, it's free, it's amazing, and you are learning from credible resources. And that really helps. Think about it. When you're not going to want to learn Spanish from me, okay? You're going to want to learn Spanish from Tony's dad, all right? Who that is their first language. And not saying, you can't be a Spanish teacher, you can't be a French teacher if if that's not your first language, but come on, who are you going to want to learn from, right? All right, please do not teach sign language. This takes away from opportunities from deaf individuals. That's why we're here today. Make apparel merch with sign language. Learn baby sign only to stop using it when your child can verbally talk. Accept acting roles of deaf characters. And that's something that I really want to do as well, is obviously teaching my kids sign so I can communicate with them better, but then also so that, and this is corny a little bit, hold on, hormones got to me. I started crying for no reason, but so that they can be bilingual. ASL is a language. It's American Sign Language. And then also, obviously, I would love for my kid to know a good amount of Spanish. I am not fluent in it, clearly, so I'm going to have Tony's dad help with that a lot. Thank God for him. But of course, I'm not going to try to teach someone something that I'm not proficient in or an expert in. You don't have to be an expert in something to teach someone something, but you need to be proficient and make sure that you're not making mistakes, because then that's a vicious cycle and that's not okay. And then actually about 2 weeks ago, yikes. So on April 4th, it gets worse. What we didn't want to happen has happened. It's actually a perfect example of how ASL with Lola, how she's saying one thing, just as a quick little disclaimer, and then posted this and says, so thankful for the opportunity to come out and sign the national anthem for Alabama's baseball team tonight. Bama, what the hell y'all doing? Auburn would never. The hashtags are national anthem, sign language interpreter. You are not a sign language interpreter. I mean, essentially a fraud, but an enthusiast at most. Like this, you are not an interpreter. People get degrees, get certifications to do that. To be able to do it at that level, I would assume they paid her. Did they not ask for credentials? Did they not ask her, like, are you qualified? Because she's not qualified. So that makes me think, like, did she lie to them, or did they just see her Instagram following and was like, yep, this is it. This is what we're going to do. Yikes. So as you can tell, she is doing this a lot. I mean, every reel that she does, basically, other than an ad here or there that is not disclosed. Today's sign is baby. Today's sign is sit, blah, blah, blah. Today's sign is boat, pillow, flower. And then she also does ASL song covers, basically, and again, gets things wrong a lot of the time. But her comments are off on everything other than the alleged undisclosed sponsored post. So not open to feedback, doesn't care what you think. And then one thing that I thought was really interesting was, this isn't new. She's been being called out for over 6 months because she has a post pinned to her page, and it's from August 5th, 2022. And it says, I would like to address the comments I have been getting recently. I in no way meant to hurt anyone with my content. I'm still learning, and I have said that multiple times that I am not a professional. You put hashtag sign language interpreter, presenting yourself as such, as a professional. I decided to track my journey to encourage others as weak. You mean as well. I had no idea this account would grow to this size or do damage to the deaf community. Well, it has. So you should probably take that criticism seriously. If you decide to unfollow, that is respected, but I will make sign language covers and showcase what I've learned, but with bigger disclaimers of not teaching. But that's what you are doing. Like, you can't just say you're not doing it, but then continue to do it. Oh, my Lord. And basically the post just says the same exact thing. So I am learning about deaf culture and the deaf community as I go, but not listening to people in the deaf community. I have had a lot of backlash about my videos and a lot of encouragement, both from the deaf community. Any funds I receive, a portion of that is going to help deaf foundations in the US. That's extremely vague, but okay. I'm still going to continue my page, just change up some things. Yeah, you can tell that she's a literal child, the way she types things out. Listen, I'm not trying to be mean here, but like, we're all dumb when we're young, right? So it doesn't seem like I'm teaching. Again, the way she's phrasing things, what she should have said is, so that it is extremely clear that I am not a professional and that I am not teaching anyone, that this is not posted for educational purposes. I am just sharing what I have learned. But it's also like, where are you learning it from? Because you've already been called out multiple times that the things, like some of the things you're doing are wrong. I will still do song covers and show signs that I learn, but clarify more that I am learning and that deaf creators are the ones to learn from. And then as recently as April 9th, when she says today's sign is bathroom. She tagged an earring company, and girl, you can't even see your earrings in that. Maybe she pushed a hair back or something at the end of it. Bathroom and sign language, quote, not a teacher. Hashtag educational, hashtag American Sign Language, hashtag ASL with Lola, hashtag sign language. Where are your parents? Like, you clearly don't have an older sister to tell you to shut up. Someone was not bullied by their siblings, and it shows. This is how I learn to say no, by something in sign language. Like, okay, I guess it's like part of a song cover. ASL cover, small artist, underground artist, song cover, ASL, sweatshirt from blank. I think that this is one of the ones that someone, I guess, paid her or sent her a sweatshirt so that she, like, it's that she couldn't disable the comments, right? And you can see the comments on here are just scathing. Funny how you disabled comments on every post. You're disrespecting the community. How sad. The fact that she disables the comments because she knows what she's doing and the amount of disrespect to the community, it's just sad. And someone says, who came from Lizzie Harris's videos? Question, where did you learn ASL? And then someone commented under that and they were like, she didn't. But the way you say is here is different. Respect when you say today's sign is. So, I mean, there are some discrepancies, I guess. I don't know. And then this is a good example of, in my opinion, an undisclosed ad. It says, I use this once a week now, and it's a video of her, like, you in like screenshots before of like someone in a lagoon, but which isn't her, but her like putting on a mask from some company, glacial clay mask, no hashtag affiliate, hashtag brand partner, certainly not hashtag ad. But it seems like most of these brands that she's accepting to work with are the ones that, you know, will be in your DMs or in your comments and are like, hi, sweetie, we would love to work with you. Or the ones that email you and are like, for your cooperation. No, baby, there ain't going to be no cooperating because that's embarrassing. Yeah, if you're an influencer, you get it. You get it. Fellow influencers, how many for your cooperation emails do you get a day? That is what I wanted to cover today. I know this was a little bit different, which really it's not. I mean, it's me giving my opinion on a situation and showing things and why it's up. I hope that girl takes accountability. I don't think she will because she is blocking, deleting, not giving people the opportunity to give her constructive feedback, not listening to that feedback from people in the actual community itself, not listening to other big creators who have shown why it's such an issue. Like I said, turning around and profiting off of that and getting like paid jobs as an interpreter, which it's like you're not an interpreter. Like, and then also from her account growing due to like the ASL covers and stuff like that, being shouted out by whatever artist or whatever. And because she's like a young, cute girl, then turning and profiting off of it with, you know, these little ads. We all start somewhere, I get it, but like at least disclose it correctly because otherwise, what do I know? I'm just a bully. I'm sure that's what people will say. Anyways, so follow Liz. I love her. She's awesome. And, you know, this video isn't to bully someone else, which I'm sure I'll still get that. I always do. It's fine. If you can't handle an assertive woman, an assertive human, whoever, calling you out on something, if someone calling you out on your own messed up behavior seems like an attack, you should probably look into that, babe. Please don't show any hate towards anyone. Positivity, assertiveness, boundaries, correcting someone can still be nice as well. It's just all about how you word it, and no, you don't have to sugarcoat things at all if someone thinks that you need to, or if not, you're rude. They're just sensitive and need to. Anyways, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you learned something. I hope that you take advantage of the resources that I'm going to leave in the description box down below. Let's learn ASL from the proper outlet, through the proper channels, through the proper resources together, not just baby ASL. I love you. You're great. Your butt looks wonderful. Take accountability for your actions. Sometimes it sucks, but you'll feel better, I promise. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. Go follow Liz, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.